Hello my fellow waders, in this video we are looking at Vetran Lucent Citadel hard mode first fight, and this fight has two primary targets, Reyalaz and Zilyesset, who seems to be a minion of Reyalaz. So fight is similar to Twins in Dreadsail Reef, but this time around you are physically separated from your team members on the other side by a mirror that doesn't let any group buffs to go through it. So you really need to plan your raid composition because to be effective as two groups of 6. Throughout the fight you will see mini adds spawning. On one side there will be skeletons, on the other side there will be centipedes, and those adds spawn invulnerable to the damage. And that invulnerability can be lifted by a certain mechanic that team members will get. The spawn order is follows. There will be 2 on each of the side, then 3 in a cluster, and another 2 on each of the side, and then you will be switching to another side of the room and rinse repeat. The spawn of the adds and the application of the beams does not always align, so sometimes you'll have beams but not the adds, like here. The adds are ranged and have 15 meters projectiles, and so far consensus was that healers will stack the adds by outranging while tank holds boss in the middle to make that more convenient. It is imperative for success of the team to bring adds in as fast as possible and kill them as fast as possible by cleave, because over the time they grow in strength. On light side, skeletons will grow in size and their projectiles will hit harder, and on dark side the centipedes will start beaming people with melt ability that literally melts your team members, and the longer they are up, the harder it hits. The vulnerability beam looks like beam hitting your head and not the beam that is coming out of the spheres, and then there will be circle of light or circle of dark on your feet. Sometimes people confuse the beams from the spheres with the beams for the vulnerability and therefore do not lift the vulnerability on time. When you get that beam and circle of light or dark, you have sufficient time to lift vulnerability from all the adds that exist on the arena. As you can see here, I ran out from the group and I'm able to cover all 3 of them that spawn, and by the time they come in, they're already damageable. Now let's talk about swap mechanics. Throughout the fight, you will be switching to the opposite room by using one of those mirrors or pools that are on the ground around the arena. So each side has 3 of those mirrors. You will know which mirror is usable by looking through the mirror and seeing which one is glowing on the other side. So your receiving mirror will be glowing. In the positioning that we use in this video, you can see that boss is held in the center facing outwards. So main tank sees the opposite side and main tank will be able to call out which mirror is glowing. The swap happens on percent health of Reyalaz, as Reyalaz seems to be a primary enemy here and Zilyesset seems to be its minion. And so a team that is on Reyalaz side, which is a light side, will be able to tell when it's time to switch. Reyalaz has wings, so we are on Reyalaz side right now. Swap is initiated at 80 and 40% of his health, and once it's initiated you have a grace period to get to the designated mirror. If you don't make it on time or go to the wrong mirror, you will die and your body will be teleported to the other side, so you still will be able to recover, but it will add additional inconvenience. Let's talk about mechanics that tanks are faced with during the fight. During the fight there will be additional larger size minis spawning in the arena. Light side has a hunger that has frontal conal cleave, so it's better to face him away from the group so nobody gets cleaved. It's pretty simple to handle, to be honest. It doesn't pose a lot of danger besides positioning and cleave. And the dark side has barren looking ad that is called Gloomy Infernium, and that ad hits very hard. They have a channeling ability that goes over several seconds and just shreds through stamina of the tank, so it is important for tank to build for additional block cost and mitigation in order to survive that beam, and for healer to keep HUDs and synergies available for the tank as they're dealing with that beam. It hits very hard. Now DDs on the light side that you can see here will get meteors appearing every once in a while, and those meteors stun, and the more you stack them, the harder they hit. So if you stack 3 or 4 together, you could be insta-killed. And it is annoying because if you have a lot of Arcanists in a group composition, they interrupt your beam and therefore damage on the light side is lower. So primary focus for the DDs on the light side is to not overstack and to be able to kill all the adds by cleaving. Primary focus for the DDs on the dark side would be to make sure that the Gloomy Infernium dies as fast as possible because that will help tank to survive better. And then you want to be cleaving the centipedes as well, because the longer centipedes stay up, the harder they hit you because they have that melt ability. So really, on the light side, it's just a positioning issue and casting your beams in a smart way where they're not getting interrupted by incoming meteors. And dark side, you have to hyper focus on prioritizing targets, including the Gloomy Infernium and centipedes, because the additional targets on that arena is the source of most danger. And the glowy orbs that beam people, I think they just add additional incoming damage, and I don't think there's any kind of special mechanics around them besides that they spawn, they beam you. I don't think you can kill them. It's just additional incoming damage and for the healer something to heal through. Just like in Dreadsail Reef, there is a mechanic that forces you to kill bosses at the same time, so you have to really pay attention and stop damage in case you're over pushing on one side. But this time around, punishment is not full wipe, but more of a boss response with a quarter health of some such, and you have to do damage again. So if you are not able to plan it in advance, you might be stuck in endless execute and eventually get overwhelmed by the odds that are spawning. So really pay attention which side has what percent health. You can see that's on PC, there are add-ons already available that show it. This is called Combat Alert on the top left that shows health of both the sides, and you see that we are killing them pretty evenly here, but it is possible that you will be over pushing on one side, especially if your composition is largely consisting of the Arcanist and meteors will prevent you from being efficient at beaming. It is also possible for ads to go through the mirror. So if you have Tant on certain ads and you switch arenas and Tant is not taking, they will run over to the other side. However, if the vulnerability was lifted from them, it's not going to be an issue. You can just kill them just as well as you would kill them on their original side. So really it's just an annoyance and need to position them correctly once they swap and be aware that they are there so you can actually focus them and kill them. From what I've seen so far, this fight is not very difficult in terms of mechanics and positioning, but it is very difficult in terms of coordination. You have to make sure that you time killing both the sides at the same time. You have to make sure that you're aware of when ads are coming in to remove vulnerability from them and not let them staying out for too long. You have to agree on how you position the boss, because there are ways to position them such that it's going to be very difficult to bring the ads in. There could be a possibility where people will find some secret corner where it will be very easy to stack ads and the boss without putting too much effort into it. It's all very possible. And surely people will come up with more efficient and fast strats for that. In terms of group composition so far, you have to plan your group buffs, so you keep the strongest sets on each of the sides and double down on them. For itemization, pick 4 strongest buff sets, so Spell Power Cure, Pillager, PA, and either TT or Sax, and Helms, either Nas or Archdruid or both. And this is all I've learned about this fight so far. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video.